Admiral Jun Nakamura stood at the observation deck of the International Space Station Harmony, watching the approaching alien delegation with a mixture of anticipation and concern. After decades of searching the stars, humanity's first official diplomatic meeting with the Galactic Council was about to begin. The massive crystalline ship of the Council representatives glided silently into dock, its surface refracting sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. "They're here earlier than expected," Lieutenant Diana Rodriguez noted, checking her tablet. As Earth's leading xenolinguist, she had spent the last 6 months studying the preliminary communication packets the Council had sent. "And they seem agitated." The airlock cycled, and 3 distinctly different alien species entered the station. The lead delegate, High Commissioner Ziwextal of the Luminari, floated in as a being of pure energy contained within an elaborate mechanical shell. Behind them came Ambassador Ven 8, a towering insectoid with iridescent compound eyes, representing the Hive Collective. The third, Protocol Officer Crunther of the Silicon Confluence, moved with careful precision on crystalline appendages. "Welcome to Earth Space Station Harmony," Admiral Nakamura began, but Ziwextal cut him off with a burst of translated speech. "Admiral, we have called this emergency session because of deeply disturbing information about your species," the energy being's voice crackled through the translator. "Our monitoring stations have intercepted your worldwide information network signals." Diana felt her stomach sink. "You've been watching our internet?" "Indeed," Ven 8 chittered, mandibles clicking in agitation. "And what we have discovered is most concerning. Your species appears to be collectively insane." Admiral Nakamura maintained his diplomatic composure, though Diana could see his jaw tighten. "That's quite an accusation. Perhaps you could be more specific?" Crunther stepped forward, crystal segments shifting to project a holographic display. "Exhibit A, your species deliberately throws itself down mountains covered in frozen water. Exhibit B, you willingly jump from perfectly functional aircraft. Exhibit C, you keep apex predators in your living spaces and call them good boys." "Those are recreational activities," Diana explained quickly. "Skiing, skydiving, and pets are just. You find recreation in potential death?" Ziwextal's energy form pulsed with alarm. "And there's more. Your young engage in ritualistic combat you call sports. You intentionally consume neurotoxins for pleasure. You voluntarily expose yourselves to dangerous sound waves you call music festivals. Your entire entertainment industry appears focused on simulating near-death experiences," Ven 8 added. "We observed something called roller coasters where you strap yourselves into metal containers and—" The alien shuddered, unable to continue. Admiral Nakamura stepped forward. "With all due respect, these activities are perfectly normal for our species. They represent our drive to explore, to push boundaries, to court death at every opportunity." Ziwextal interrupted. "We have made our decision. Earth is hereby declared a Level 1 restricted zone. No species in the Galactic Council will be permitted contact with humanity until you have evolved beyond these self-destructive tendencies." "You're quarantining us?" Diana asked incredulously. "For the safety of the galaxy," Crunther confirmed. "Your reckless behaviors could prove infectious to impressionable species." As the delegation departed, leaving behind formal documentation of Earth's restricted status, Admiral Nakamura and Diana stood in stunned silence. Finally, the Admiral spoke. "Get me the Secretary General. She's not going to believe this." What neither the Earth representatives nor the Galactic Council could have predicted was that their attempt to isolate humanity would have exactly the opposite effect. Within days of the quarantine declaration, the first reports began coming in of alien vessels attempting to sneak past the blockade. It seemed that declaring Earth off-limits had only made it more intriguing to the rest of the galaxy. In the secure command center beneath Geneva, Diana reviewed the latest intelligence reports with growing amazement. "They're downloading our social media feeds," she told the Admiral. "Extreme sports videos, challenge trends, even carnival ride footage. It's spreading through their networks like wildfire. Are you telling me, Admiral Nakamura said slowly, that we've become the galaxy's forbidden fruit? More like their favorite reality show, Diana replied. The Council's fear of our dangerous behaviors has made us irresistibly fascinating to their citizens. We're not just restricted, we're viral. As they would soon learn, this was only the beginning. Humanity's reputation as the galaxy's adrenaline junkies was about to create an interstellar incident unlike anything they could have imagined. Captain Marcus Wong of the Earth Defense Force's Cyber Intelligence Division hadn't slept in 3 days. The holographic displays surrounding his workspace flickered with countless intercepted alien transmissions, each one more bizarre than the last. His team had discovered something unprecedented, an entire underground network dedicated to sharing human content across alien civilizations. "You need to see this, sir," Lieutenant Priya Patel called from her station. She pulled up a translation of what appeared to be an alien social media feed. "They're not just watching our videos anymore. They're trying to recreate them." Marcus leaned forward, rubbing his tired eyes. The footage showed a group of bioluminescent beings attempting to recreate a human skateboarding video. The results were both hilarious and concerning. Their natural glow created beautiful light trails, but their obvious lack of understanding about gravity led to some spectacular fails. "Are they using some kind of gravity manipulation tech to do this?" he asked. "Yes, and that's not even the strangest part," Priya replied. "Look at the comments section." The translated comments revealed an obsessive fascination with human culture. Alien beings from across the galaxy were treating Earth's quarantine status as a marketing campaign for humanity's extreme lifestyle. What the Galactic Council intended as a warning had become the greatest advertisement for human culture in cosmic history. In the 3 months since Earth's isolation, an entire black market had emerged. Underground channels traded everything from human music to recipes for coffee and chocolate. Exercise videos had become particularly popular among species that had long ago evolved beyond the need for physical movement. "Director Harrison needs to see this," Marcus said, gathering the data. "This isn't just cultural exchange anymore. This is becoming a security risk." In the director's office at EDF headquarters, Elaine Harrison listened to Marcus's report with growing concern. The massive window behind her desk offered a view of Geneva's skyline, where construction crews were still working to build Earth's new planetary defense systems, a necessity since the quarantine declaration. "Let me make sure I understand this correctly," she said, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had dealt with too many impossible situations lately. "Not only are alien civilizations ignoring the Council's restrictions, but they're actively trying to copy our most dangerous activities?" "Yes, ma'am," Marcus confirmed. "We've detected over 10,000 instances of aliens attempting to recreate human sports, stunts, and social activities. There's even a group calling themselves Humans Are Right that's promoting what they call controlled danger seeking as a path to spiritual enlightenment." "Any casualties?" "Surprisingly few, actually. Most species seem to be using advanced safety technology while they experiment. Though we did have one incident with a group of silicon-based life forms who tried to recreate a hot sauce challenge video. Apparently, capsaicin has some interesting effects on crystalline entities." Director Harrison pulled up another report on her desk display. "The Council's getting desperate. Their attempts to block human content are failing, and now they're facing internal pressure from their own citizens. Several species have filed formal protests against the quarantine, claiming it violates their right to cultural exchange." "It gets more complicated," Priya added, bringing up new data on the room's main screen. "We've identified at least 3 major smuggling operations bringing alien tourists to Earth. They're marketing us as an extreme adventure destination. Rich thrill seekers are paying astronomical sums to sneak past the blockade and experience human activities firsthand." "Like what?" Harrison asked, though her expression suggested she already knew she wouldn't like the answer. Last week we caught a group of energy beings trying to surf in Australia. Before that, some metamorphic entities attempted to join a marathon in Boston. And just yesterday, orbital security had to turn away a ship full of collective consciousness beings who wanted to experience something called a mosh pit. Director Harrison stood, walking to the window. The setting sun cast long shadows across the city, giving Geneva an almost otherworldly appearance. The Council thought they could contain us, protect the galaxy from our dangerous influence. Instead, they've turned humanity into the forbidden fruit of the cosmos. What do we do? Marcus asked. We adapt, Harrison replied, turning back to face them. If we can't stop this underground fascination with human culture, we need to control it. Make it safer, regulated. Otherwise, we're going to have an interstellar incident on our hands when some alien tourist gets hurt trying to recreate a parkour video. The Council won't like that, Priya warned. The Council, Harrison said with a slight smile, is about to learn something important about human nature. The more you tell someone they can't do something, the more they want to do it. And right now, the entire galaxy wants to be human. As if to prove her point, Marcus's tablet chimed with a new alert. Ma'am, you're going to want to see this. Someone just leaked footage of the Council meeting where they declared Earth off limits. It's trending across every major alien social network. And now there's a viral challenge called Act Human for a Day. It's spreading faster than the Council can contain it. Director Harrison sat back down, a mix of amusement and concern crossing her face. Well, then. I suppose we should prepare for visitors. Whether the Council likes it or not, Earth is about to become the galaxy's hottest tourist destination. In the weeks that followed, Earth's defense forces would face their strangest challenge yet, figuring out how to handle an increasing flood of alien tourists desperate to experience the thrills of human life. The galaxy's most dangerous species, it seemed, was also becoming its most influential cultural force. And this was only the beginning. Commander Olivia Chen of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Tourism Control Unit, ETCU, stood on Bondi Beach, Australia, watching what had to be the strangest surfing lesson in Earth's history. Three luminescent beings, their forms constantly shifting between solid and gaseous states, attempted to balance on modified surfboards while their human instructor showed remarkable patience. At least these ones asked for permission first, her second-in-command, Major Rafael Torres, commented. He was reviewing footage from their latest orbital intercept, a group of crystalline entities trying to sneak in for what they called an authentic human roller coaster experience. How many unauthorized entries did we stop this week? Olivia asked, though she already knew the answer would be concerning. 37 attempted landings, 15 orbital violations, and one very persistent hive mind that kept trying to convince our patrol ships it was actually a weather balloon. Raphael checked his tactical display. Oh, and the Andromedans are back. They're offering platinum-grade antimatter in exchange for tickets to something called Burning Man. Olivia sighed. 6 months into Earth's quarantine, and their job of keeping alien tourists out had become nearly impossible. The more the Galactic Council tightened its restrictions, the more determined various species became to experience authentic human activities. Her communicator chirped with an urgent message from ETCU headquarters. Commander, we've got a situation in Nepal. A group of gravity-manipulating entities decided to try climbing Mount Everest. Without equipment. Or oxygen. Or, apparently, any understanding of what cold is. Send in Rescue Team Delta, Olivia ordered. And get me a direct line to their ship. I want to know how they got past our detection grid. Before she could get more details, another alert came through, this one from Times Square, New York. A collective of silicon-based life forms had materialized in the middle of a flash mob, causing both panic and impromptu dance collaborations. This is getting out of hand, Raphael observed, watching the live feed. We can't keep playing Cosmic Border Patrol forever. He was right. Despite Earth's best efforts to maintain the Council's quarantine, the flood of alien tourists was only increasing. What had started as isolated incidents had become a full-blown underground tourism industry. Alien social media was filled with bootleg Earth experiences, unauthorized human culture appreciation groups, and black market travel packages promising authentic danger encounters. Back at ETCU headquarters in Rio de Janeiro, Olivia met with her global team via holographic conference. The wall screens showed a real-time map of Earth, dotted with countless markers indicating alien activity. The situation has evolved beyond our capacity to control it, she explained to the assembled officers. We need a new approach. Dr. Victor Osiris, their chief xenopsychologist, spoke up from his station in Cairo. Perhaps we're looking at this the wrong way. These species aren't just seeking thrills, they're searching for something their own cultures lack. Spontaneity. Physical challenge. The rush of facing and overcoming fear. You're suggesting we work with this rather than against it? Asked Captain Yuki Tanaka from the Tokyo office. Exactly, Victor replied. Instead of trying to stop them, we could create controlled environments for alien tourists to safely experience human activities. Regulated adventure tourism. The suggestion sparked immediate debate. Some argued it would violate the Council's quarantine, while others pointed out that the quarantine was already being violated daily. At least this way they could maintain some control over the situation. Olivia held up her hand for silence. We're already dealing with these visitors whether we want to or not. Better to manage it officially than let the black market handle it. The Council won't approve, Raphael warned. The Council, Olivia said with a slight smile, doesn't need to know yet. We'll start small, pilot programs, carefully monitored experiences. Build up safety protocols and documentation. By the time they figure it out, we'll have proof that controlled cultural exchange is better than this chaos. Over the next few weeks, the ETCU began quietly implementing Project Cultural Bridge. They converted an abandoned theme park outside Vancouver into Earth's first officially unofficial alien adventure center. Under strict supervision, carefully vetted alien visitors could experience modified versions of human activities. The results were both hilarious and heartwarming. Energy beings discovered a passion for bungee jumping, using their natural ability to change form to create spectacular light shows. A group of hive mind entities became surprisingly good at team sports, though they had to be repeatedly reminded that telepathically coordinating with the opposing team was against the rules. But not everyone was happy with this development. Olivia wasn't surprised when her secure terminal lit up with an incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. High Commissioner Zwixtal's energy form crackled with obvious agitation. Commander Chen, we have received disturbing reports about your unauthorized tourism operation. This is a direct violation of the quarantine protocols. With respect, Commissioner, Olivia replied calmly, your quarantine protocols were violated the moment you announced them. We're simply trying to make an impossible situation safer for everyone involved. By encouraging more species to engage in dangerous human practices? By providing a controlled environment where different species can learn from each other. Your own reports show that unauthorized incursions have decreased by 60% since we started this program. Because you're letting them in officially. Exactly, Olivia smiled. And not a single serious incident so far. Unlike the 23 emergency rescues we had to perform last month alone from unauthorized attempts. The energy being pulsed in what might have been frustration. The Council will not stand for this. The Council, Olivia said, might want to look at their own population's social media feeds. Your people want this, Commissioner. They're fascinated by us. You can either work with us to make it safe and regulated, or you can keep fighting a losing battle against cultural exchange. As the transmission ended, Raphael entered her office. That went well? About as expected, Olivia replied. But they'll come around. They have to. Because this isn't just about tourism anymore, it's about something bigger. We're watching the beginning of true galactic cultural exchange, whether the Council likes it or not. She walked to her window, watching as a group of crystalline beings carefully attempted their first game of beach volleyball on the ETCU's specially designed safety courts. Humanity's greatest strength, she mused, has always been our ability to turn restrictions into opportunities. The Council tried to isolate us, and instead, they made us the most interesting species in the galaxy. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of an even greater transformation in galactic society, one that would start with adventure tourism and end with a fundamental shift in how species across the cosmos viewed themselves and each other. First Officer Zelthor of the Crystalline Collective slumped in his monitoring station aboard the quarantine enforcement vessel, Eternal Vigilance, watching with growing alarm as another report came in. This time, it was footage from the Luminari homeworld showing young energy beings participating in something they called extreme phase shifting, deliberately transitioning between states of matter at high speeds while performing aerial acrobatics. "They're copying human extreme sports," he muttered to his commander, Vortex. "But with their own, unique interpretations." "It's not just sports anymore," Vortex replied, her crystalline form reflecting the station's lights in patterns that indicated deep concern. "Have you seen the latest trends? Young Andromedans are organizing what they call flash crystallization mobs in public spaces. The Silicon Confederation reported groups of their youth deliberately exposing themselves to controlled electromagnetic pulses for the buzz." On their main screen, feeds from across the galaxy showed the spreading influence of human culture. Despite the Council's best efforts to maintain the quarantine, humanity's impact on galactic society was becoming impossible to contain. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Neela Patel of the Cultural Exchange Analysis Division reviewed the same data with fascination. Her office in the United Nations Extraterrestrial Relations Complex in Singapore was filled with holographic displays showing the rapid evolution of alien societies. "It's remarkable," she told her colleague, Dr. Finn O'Connor. "We're witnessing the first galactic youth counterculture. These young aliens aren't just imitating human activities, they're creating hybrid cultural expressions that blend their natural abilities with human concepts." "The Council's getting desperate," Finn noted, pulling up recent diplomatic communications. "They're trying to frame it as a form of cultural contamination, but their own youth are calling it evolutionary progress." A holographic alert materialized, showing new footage from the Hive Collective. Young drones had begun organizing what they called swarm raves, synchronizing their movements to human electronic music while creating complex three-dimensional patterns in the air. "Look at this," Neela pointed to a particularly interesting data point. The Metamorphic Alliance, traditionally one of the most conservative societies, is experiencing what they're calling a transformation revolution. Their young are using their shape-shifting abilities to create competitive sports. The implications were staggering. Species that had evolved beyond physical activity were rediscovering the joy of movement. Collective consciousness entities were exploring individual expression. Beings of pure energy were learning to dance. On the Galactic Council's capital world, an emergency session was called to address the crisis. High Commissioner Ziwextal faced an increasingly divided council chamber. The holographic feeds showed representatives from across the galaxy, many clearly struggling to maintain their composure. "The quarantine has failed," Ambassador Ven, 8 of the Hive Collective declared. "Our attempts to isolate humanity have only increased their influence. My own hive is changing. Yesterday, I found my youngest drones attempting to create something called a skateboard park in the lower tunnels." The Silicon Confederation reports similar disruptions, Protocol Officer Crunther added. "Our youth are questioning our traditional focus on pure logic. They speak of something called feeling alive and pushing boundaries. These are dangerous human concepts." But not all council members shared this view. A growing faction, led by the younger representatives, argued for embracing the change. Ambassador Lyra of the Metamorphic Alliance, herself part of the younger generation, took the floor. Perhaps what we fear is not humanity's influence, but our own potential for growth, she suggested, her form shifting through a subtle rainbow of colors. For millennia, our species have pursued safety and stability above all else. But watching humans, we're remembering something we'd forgotten: the exhilaration of challenge, the joy of physical existence, the thrill of pushing beyond our comfort zones. Back on Earth, Commander Olivia Chen and her ETCU team were dealing with an unexpected new development. Alien youth weren't just trying to sneak onto Earth anymore, they were organizing their own cultural exchange programs. They're calling it the Galactic Evolution Movement, Raphael reported, showing her the latest intelligence. Young aliens from different species are working together to create what they call hybrid experiences, combining their natural abilities with human concepts of sports, art, and entertainment. Olivia reviewed the footage with a mix of concern and admiration. A group of energy beings and silicon entities had collaborated to create a new form of performance art, combining light manipulation with crystalline structures in ways that defied traditional physics. Young members of the Hive Collective were teaching individualized dance moves to metamorphic youth, who in turn shared their shape-shifting techniques. This is more than just rebellion or thrill-seeking, Dr. Victor Osiris observed. We're watching the birth of the first truly galactic youth culture. These young aliens aren't just copying humans, they're using our influence as a catalyst to explore their own potential in new ways. The implications were both exciting and terrifying. Humanity, in being quarantined, had accidentally triggered a cultural revolution that was spreading across the galaxy. Species that had remained unchanged for millennia were evolving new social patterns. Ancient rivalries were being forgotten as young aliens bonded over shared interests in human-inspired activities. The Council can't stop this anymore, Olivia realized. This isn't just about tourism or entertainment. We've shown them something they didn't know they were missing: the joy of pushing boundaries, the thrill of discovery, the excitement of controlled risk. As if to prove her point, her screen lit up with a new alert. The latest trend among young aliens was something they called cross-species adventure clubs, groups from different species working together to create new forms of recreation that combined their various abilities. They're not just learning from us anymore, Raphael said with a hint of pride. They're taking what they've learned and creating something entirely new. Something that's neither purely human nor purely alien, but a true galactic culture. The question now wasn't whether the Council would accept these changes, but how quickly they would have to adapt to them. The galaxy's youth had gotten their first taste of human-style adventure, and there was no going back. The age of safe, predictable alien societies was coming to an end, replaced by something far more dynamic and interesting. 1 year after Earth's quarantine began, Grand Ambassador Thex of the Unified World stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council. The massive chamber, designed to accommodate beings of all forms and compositions, hummed with tension. Representatives from every major species had gathered for what promised to be a historic decision. The quarantine of Earth has failed, Thex began, his holographic form shimmering with determination. Not because of human defiance or our lack of enforcement, but because we fundamentally misunderstood what we were trying to contain. We thought we were protecting the galaxy from dangerous behaviors. Instead, we were denying our societies something they desperately needed: evolution. In Earth's orbital diplomatic station, New Horizons, Admiral Jun Nakamura and his team watched the Council proceedings with Lieutenant Diana Rodriguez and the rest of Earth's diplomatic corps. After months of secret negotiations, everything hinged on this moment. Humanity's influence on our cultures cannot be denied, Thex continued. But perhaps it should not be feared. In just 1 year, we have witnessed more social and cultural evolution among our species than in the previous millennium. Our youth aren't just mimicking humans, they're discovering new aspects of themselves. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of protests and support, transmitted through various forms of communication: light pulses, electromagnetic waves, crystalline resonances, and more. Thex waited for order before continuing. I present to you Evidence File Alpha, he announced, as holographic displays activated around the chamber. These are achievements from the past year that would have been impossible without human influence. The displays showed remarkable scenes. A team of energy beings and silicon entities had developed a new form of space travel, combining their natural abilities with human-inspired innovative thinking. The Hive Collective had revolutionized their architecture, introducing concepts of beauty and creativity to their traditionally purely functional designs. The Metamorphic Alliance had created new art forms that pushed the boundaries of matter manipulation. And most importantly, Thek said, "Look at our youth." The displays shifted to show various young aliens from different species working together, creating new sports, art forms, and technologies. They're not just breaking traditions, they're building bridges between our cultures that have never existed before. On Earth, Commander Olivia Chen and her ETCU team watched from their headquarters as the Council's deliberations were broadcast across the galaxy. The past year had been exhausting but transformative. What started as a crisis of unauthorized alien tourism had evolved into something far more significant. "They're going to accept the proposal," Raphael predicted, watching the council members' reactions. "They have to. Their own populations won't accept anything else now." He was right. After hours of debate, the council reached a historic decision. Earth's quarantine would be lifted, replaced by something unprecedented: the Galactic Cultural Exchange Initiative. High Commissioner Ziwextal, once Earth's strongest opponent, made the official announcement: Earth will become the galaxy's first officially sanctioned adventure tourism and cultural innovation center. Under careful regulation and safety protocols, all species will be permitted to experience and learn from human activities, while humans will gain access to galactic technology and knowledge. The terms were carefully negotiated. Earth would establish specialized facilities for different species to safely experience human activities. In return, alien societies would share their advanced technology, particularly in safety and medical fields. It was a win-win situation that transformed Earth's dangerous reputation into a unique cultural asset. 6 months later, Commander Chen stood in the observation deck of the newly constructed Galactic Adventure Academy outside Cape Town. Below her, beings from across the cosmos participated in carefully adapted human activities. Energy beings learned rock climbing using specialized gravity fields. Silicon entities experienced swimming in crystal-safe pools. A group of hive mind drones was getting surprisingly good at basketball. "We've come a long way from trying to keep them out," Dr. Victor Osiris remarked, joining her at the window. "Now we're teaching young metamorphs how to skateboard." "It's more than just entertainment," Olivia replied. "Look at how they interact with each other. Species that never communicated before are forming friendships, sharing experiences, learning from each other." The academy was just one of many such facilities being established around the world. Each one specialized in different aspects of human culture, adapted for alien participation. But more importantly, they were becoming centers of innovation where different species could collaborate and create new forms of recreation and art. In orbit, the New Horizons station had been expanded into a major diplomatic hub. Admiral Nakamura and Lieutenant Rodriguez now led a team dedicated to facilitating cultural exchange between Earth and alien societies. Their latest project was particularly ambitious: the first Galactic Olympics, featuring both traditional human sports and new hybrid games developed by mixed-species teams. "You know what the most remarkable thing is?" Diana said during one of their planning sessions. "The Council's original fear was that human behavior would infect other species with recklessness. Instead, our influence has made them more alive, more creative, more willing to embrace change and challenge. And we've learned from them too," June added. "Their safety technology has made our extreme sports safer than ever. Their perspective has helped us understand our own drive for adventure in new ways." The galaxy was changing. Species that had been stagnant for millennia were evolving new social patterns. Young aliens were creating fusion cultures that combined the best aspects of their traditional societies with human-inspired innovation. Earth, once quarantined as a danger to galactic society, had become its most vibrant cultural center. As Olivia watched a young energy being successfully complete their first controlled skydive, creating a spectacular light show in the process, she couldn't help but smile. The Council had tried to contain humanity's influence, only to discover that what they feared wasn't danger, but change itself. In trying to protect the galaxy from humanity's madness, they had instead unleashed something far more powerful, the universal desire to push boundaries, explore possibilities, and truly feel alive. Earth was no longer the galaxy's quarantined danger zone. It had become something far more important, a catalyst for cultural evolution, a place where species could discover new aspects of themselves, and a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is play it too safe.